Hi, welcome to this walkthrough tutorial, which will be dealing with further developing, honing your writing skills in regards to summarizing, paraphrasing, and also valuable ways to expand your vocabulary. All right, let's go to our PowerPoint and take a look. Well, we're going to take a look at a specific text. The text comes from a terrific teaching book entitled Keynote. The series is Keynote, and it's the Proficient Students course book by Paul Dummett. The text deals with an overview of the PIXAR organization, the corporation, and how they manage their creative staff. Now, the first thing we can do as a means to writing a summary of this text is to look at how many paragraphs are included. Well, here's the text, here's the title, paragraph 1, paragraph 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so to answer our question, there are 4 paragraphs. The next step is to decide which sentence in each paragraph is the topic sentence, the main idea, and to note down key points, core ideas in general. So let's do that first. Okay, the text reads, paragraph 1, PIXAR is the world's leading computer animation studio. On the back of its box office successes, such as Toy Story and Finding Nemo, it was bought by Walt Disney Studios, already a filmmaking partner, in 2006, in a deal worth over US $7 billion. Yet Pixar remained an independent entity, true to its own principles of creative enterprise. So one could say that in this first paragraph, our topic sentence, the core ideas, are, the text is about Pixar, and the fact that Pixar is the world's leading computer animation studio. Also important is the fact that Pixar is an independent entity. They basically follow their own rules of business, or let's say their own rules of approach to creative enterprise. And they're true to these principles. So they're independent and they remain true to their own ideas about how to go about creating animation. Let's take a look at paragraph 2, which reads, Pixar believes that creativity is not about single original ideas. It's a collaborative effort made by a community of people who trust and get on with each other. Movies contain thousands of ideas about characters, sets, dialogue, lighting, pacing, and each participant must contribute suggestions that will collectively make it a success. So, a community of good people is key to Pixar's philosophy. As its founder, Ed Catmull, says, a mediocre team can make a mess of a good idea, whereas a great team can make a success of a mediocre idea. All right, so the main points of paragraph 2, well, Pixar believes that creativity is not about single original ideas. There we go. They believe in collaborative effort, and they're true to the idea that it's a community of people who trust and get on with each other. So really what you're seeing is that in this paragraph, the main ideas come in the topic sentence at the beginning. Paragraph 3 reads, but inevitably, creativity is also about taking risks. And because of the enormous costs involved in making a movie, there's always a tension between original creative expression and copying ideas that have been known to deliver commercial success. Pixar's solution to this dilemma is to follow the principle that management is not there to prevent risk, but only to ensure that the company's financial recovery is possible if a particular project should fail. So what are the main ideas of paragraph 3? Well, essentially this paragraph is dealing with risk-taking as part of the business, a commercial, successful business, and the fact that the company's financial department is there to prevent failure, or let's say recover from failure. So again, creativity is also about taking risks. Pixar's management is there to ensure that the company's financial recovery is possible if a particular project should fail. So our main points are coming in the beginning and at the end of the paragraph. Paragraph 4 reads, so, PIXAR creates an environment where it's safe to have ideas, breaking down barriers between employees and management. Its offices contain large communal spaces where people can bump into each other regularly and have free and open exchanges. To avoid the trap of becoming a world unto itself, it also urges employees to keep an eye on technological innovations in the academic community and on how people are using technology in the wider world. In the words of its Chief Creative Officer, John Laster, technology inspires art, and art challenges the technology. Main points from paragraph 4. The PIXAR believes it's safe to have ideas. It's all about breaking down barriers, that employees should have free and open exchanges. It urges employees to keep an eye on technological innovations out in the wider world. So basically, the gist of the entire text is about the fact that PIXAR encourages safe exchange of ideas among a team of dedicated and trusting professionals. Now, what you'll see here is, again, the main points, the core ideas, the topic sentences are simply taken directly from the text itself. The next step in the process will be writing what's called a paraphrase. So we need to change these words from the text originally into our own words so that we're not running afoul of copyright infringement regulations, so that we don't plagiarize. Well, okay, let's take a look. Here's a sample paraphrase from the first paragraph. PIXAR, the world's foremost computer animation studio, is one which stands firmly by its core beliefs regarding creativity. Now, this is just another way of saying leading, foremost, stands firmly by, true to its own principles, stands firmly by its core beliefs. So we've paraphrased, we've used our own words. Going on, as an organization, PIXAR is committed to the notion that the creative process does not entail concepts which are born of single individuals on their own. Creativity involves cooperative endeavors shared by a dedicated team of people who work well together. Where have these pieces come from? Well, committed to the notion that, believes, the creative process does not involve single individuals on their own. So it's about a community of people. And creativity involves cooperative endeavors. That's another way to say collaborate effort. Shared by a dedicated team of people, a community of people who trust and get on with each other. Well, we've simply rewritten it as dedicated team of people who work well together. Now you're seeing that, again, these are our own words, paraphrased to represent what's written here. Now, paragraph 3, it's about the taking risks and how management and finances are dealt with to safeguard success. Well, in order to minimize the unavoidable risks associated with the creative industry, PIXAR safeguards its market success by both averting the loss associated with taking creative risks and by making certain that recovery from such loss is achievable. Okay, instead of saying, for example, inevitably it's about taking risks, here we've written unavoidable risks. And instead of writing to prevent risk, we've written safeguard success, avert loss. So again, words like prevent, avert, making certain, ensure, recovery, and recovery from loss is achievable. So again, these are words like fail, loss, safeguard, success, avert, risk, Okay? We've used our own words to summarize and paraphrase these ideas. Lastly, PIXAR resolutely maintains its commitment to prioritizing freedom of expression among staff, as well as encouraging them to keep abreast of developments unfolding in the outside world within both technology and academia. Another way to say, to avoid the trap, to create an environment, resolutely maintains its commitment. Safe to have ideas, breaking down barriers. Well, we write it here as prioritizing freedom of expression among staff. Here we've got free and open exchange, urges employees to keep an eye on technological innovations. If you urge employees, you encourage them. To keep abreast of developments is simply another way to express the idea of keep an eye on innovations. Developments, innovations. Keep abreast of, to keep an eye on. And instead of saying here we've got in the, where is it? The wider world? Yes, the wider world. We've changed it to in the outside world. And here they've mentioned technology and academic community. And we've written that as technology and academia. Again, this is our paraphrase. It is already a bit summarized. It's shorter than what we see here. But essentially, it's not quite a full summary. It's a paraphrase. The last step here is to create a summary. One paragraph, one complete story, if you will, that expresses the gist, the crux, the essence of what this text is about. Here's a sample. PIXAR, the world's foremost animation studio, is committed to the notion that creativity is a process shared among a community of dedicated team members who can enjoy freedom of expression and share ideas openly. Given that there are unavoidable risks involved in such work, PIXAR's finance department safeguards its market success by both averting the loss associated with taking creative risks, as well as by making certain that recovery from such loss is achievable. In addition, the company encourages its personnel to keep abreast of developments unfolding in the outside world within both technology and academia. So again, we've basically hit on the main points. PIXAR, the world's leading foremost studio for animation, is committed to this creative process as one of sharing, that it's about freedom of expression, and that their team members are in a community together. The notion that there are unavoidable risks, and that the finance department makes certain safeguards that there is no loss associated by making certain that there is recovery from loss. And that the company encourages its personnel. Here we've got the word personnel in place of staff. Here I believe they use the word staff or employees, okay? And we've used another word, personnel, to keep on top of, to keep an eye on innovations and developments in technology and academia. Why have I given these words bold feature? Well, these are nice linkers. And in order to write a good summary and enable the reader to read it fluently and smoothly, linkers are important. Linkers like, given that, as well as, in addition. There are plenty more linkers to be used. And here's just free of charge, a little further practice from our book series. So you have to complete the correct options to complete this summary. So here we've got another summary. Take a moment, pause the video, and then choose your option, okay, number 1 through 10, and then we'll read it out together. All right, now, There has been a steady rise in the popularity of animated films over the last 15 years. Among the top 30 most popular films in the world in 2011, 1 in 4 were animated films. Although a significant proportion of the top 30 films were produced outside the USA, all of the animated films were American. Avatar has been the highest grossing film to date. Some say it is not a true animation film because the makers used motion capture and computer-generated imagery when it was being made. In fact, in the last few years, the vast majority of action and adventure films have been made using these techniques. Let's go on for a little further practice. All right, complete the text with the words in the box. Take a minute, pause the video, and give it a go. All right, let's take a look. We've already got Toy Story 1, 2, 3, and 4, and in all likelihood, we will see a Toy Story 5. Sequels of other Pixar successes like Cars and Finding Nemo are also bound to come out. But at what point does the public get tired of sequels? If Pixar is to realize its founder's ambition, that Pixar will be producing films long after he is gone, it will need fresh titles too. But this may well be its and Disney's thinking, that if it is going to produce creative new films, these will have to be funded by material that is known to work. Is this a risky strategy? Time will tell. For now, it seems to be working, but it doesn't take into account that another film studio could be about to make a breakthrough. All right. And lastly, one more slide of practice. Okay, read this account. It's a story. Look at the underlined sequencing words. These are linking words, linking phrases, that is. There are connecting words, comment adverbs. Correct or improve them where necessary. In a few cases, these are incorrect. Okay, take a moment, pause the video, and then give it a go. All right. Well, the correct version would read, last summer, we booked a 2-week holiday in Greece through a travel agent. At first, we were going to book our flights and hotel directly, like we usually do, or as we usually do. But, however, my husband thought using a package holiday operator would be easier and cheaper as well, or and also cheaper. How wrong he was. Although the flight itself wasn't luxurious, you could write although, even though, the flight wasn't luxurious, nonetheless, it was reasonably comfortable and, luckily, fortunately, it arrived on time. However, from that moment, things went downhill. Yeah, you could write here, when the plane arrived at 2 in the morning, there was no bus waiting to transfer us. It had broken down and we had to wait 2 hours for a relief bus. When it arrived in the end, or finally, I refused to get on it because it looked so ancient and unsafe. Instead, we waited until the car hire firm opened at 8 a.m. and then we booked our own transport. And afterward, I would say then, and then we booked our own transport. All right, hopefully this has helped to give you a clear and concise idea about how to effectively paraphrase and summarize a text. Thank you for watching.